Hello everybody and welcome to our studio show here at Arco de Trento. It's round 4 of the FIM MX2 and MXGP World Motocross Championship. On today's show, my guests are Arnaud Tonus, the new MX2 World Championship leader. We've got Stephen Frossard and Giacomo Garibaldi as well, the team manager for the Garibaldi Honda squad. But before we go any further, let's take a quick look at what happened 2 weeks ago at the MX Grand Prix of Brazil in the MX2 class.
MX2 race 2, the gate dropped, down into turn 1 they charged, and it was the number 59 of Alexander Tonkov on the Wilvona Star, Husqvarna, who grabbed that fox head hole shot as Jordi Tixier got caught out at turn 1 with Maxime Dupre. Dylan Ferrandis led briefly, but then threw it away at the start of lap 2, handing the advantage to 259 on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki, Glenn Coldenhoff. Behind them was the 243 HRC Garibaldi Honda rider Tim Gajser from Slovenia, who was putting in his best performance since joining the MX2 ranks. Lupino was having a slightly better ride, but then a mistake left him on the deck. Whilst in 7th, he would eventually pick himself up and finish in 8th. Max Anstey, 99, on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha, found his way up the inside of 59 Tonkov on his way to 4th place. But despite the tricky conditions, the 259 of Glenn Coldenhoff was starting to turn a few heads, as he was also en route for a potential first race victory in his MX2 career. Valentin Guyot fell, but would eventually finish in 5th position. Arnaud Tonus didn't make a brilliant start in the second race, but eventually found himself into 2nd position, finding a way past Tim Gajser. Thomas Covington eventually went out, couldn't get the bike started whilst in 9th place, and that was his day done. But the flag fell. It was a first career victory for Glenn Coldenhoff. Tonus was 2nd, Gajser was 3rd, and the overall Grand Prix belonged to Arnaud Tonus. Coldenhoff 2nd overall, Anstey was 3rd. And in the championship chase, Arnaud Tonus has a slender advantage at the top of the table. He is the championship leader as we go to Arco de Trento in 2 weeks' time. Been a day of firsts for the Swiss rider. First race victory, an overall Grand Prix as well. And he is the new championship leader, deposing Jeffrey Hurlings, who's led the championship since April 2012.
So, welcome back to the studio here. Arnaud Tonus, the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship leader, the new championship leader, joins us here in Arco. Arnaud, I guess the first question, after congratulations, first of all, on taking the red plate last time out in Brazil, has it sunk in yet, you know, leading the World Championship, coming here?
Yeah, it's a great feeling, you know. I felt like I feel more confident for sure, but also kind of empty somewhere in myself, you know. I felt like I definitely turned a page in Brazil after all what happened these last 2 years. So definitely a good feeling, and track looks good here. There is also a great background, so it should be a cool weekend. I
was looking on your Twitter feed just after the GP. Turns out your brother played a nice little prank. Was it your brother or a member of the family? Something to do with the car registration plate?
Yeah, it was a cool move. Yeah, no, it's a really close friend of me. I went home and he just did my plate on the car. It was really funny to have it red, and I definitely didn't get it for long because it won't be good with the police. But you know, it was really fun to have that home, and it's crazy. You can see how much you share with the people around, and they were so involved, and I was really happy to also bring this emotion to the family and all the close friends around.
All right, well, obviously it was round 3 in Brazil. The championship's pretty long. How are you feeling here? I noticed in the free practice session, about 300s in it between you and Jeffrey, but it's only free practice.
Yeah.
But how are you settling in here? Because I guess a lot of people thinking maybe you're going to come here with a little bit of pressure and that kind of thing. But you looked good, actually, I must say, this morning when you put in that lap.
Yeah, I felt good. You know, I tried to don't think so much about the red plate and all that. You know, I just try to do my thing, keep focused on my riding, and you know, that's all I have to do. The championship is really long, so a lot to come. So hope to keep on this way.
Obviously, in race 1 in Brazil, you took your first ever MX2 race win. Just talk us through it. What do you remember about the race itself? Because I remember talking to you in the press conference. The last part was probably the longest.
Yeah, for sure. I remember it was the longest race ever. It felt like, since after 15 minutes, I had a little gap. So I started to look at the time and say, oh, it's still 15 minutes to go. So from there, I really had to keep my focus on, because maybe in the past, that's what was my bad point, if I can say. Like, I often had some little crash from losing focus in that. So it was a victory on the moto, but also on myself to be able to keep that focus, and I was really happy on that.
How did that feel crossing the line with when the checkered flag fell for the first time while you were leading?
Whoa, it's hard to explain that feeling. It feels like you're really happy, but also so many things going through your head that you don't even feel what's going on. It's really hard to explain that. So definitely a great feeling. And after that moto, I felt like it was over for the day. Because I was that much happy and all the pressure was going out, and so it was really a cool moment. And after that, I had another moto to go, and was able to keep that second place and win the overall. So
we'll talk about the second race in a moment. But just looking on the podium here, you looked almost in disbelief, standing on the top step of the podium, having just won your first Grand Prix as well, but also having the red plate. I remember just watching it as I was commentating, and words couldn't express, what I was feeling for you. I mean, look.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to put some words on those feelings. Yeah, it's because everything went together in one day. First win of the moto overall, and then red plate. So even I didn't know I had the red plate before I went up on the podium. My girlfriend Marie, she just told me, you have the red plate, but I didn't hear it. I was on another planet maybe at this time. So he came with the red plate, and I was like, is it for me? So it was so cool.
Yeah, but it's obviously they're not easy to come by anyway. But it's been a long journey, though, for you, hasn't it? Not been easy. Last couple of years, last 18 months, a lot of injuries. But even getting to this point, I know you dedicated to Georges Aubé, who was in your corner for much of your time.
Yeah. It was the first thing that came at the end of this moto, George has been so much involved with me. Like, it seems like he was riding with me, he was on it, and all the week we spent together so much time and so much energy. He was always trying to find the small details to get it better. And every Wednesday, I remember he was saying, this weekend you're going to be on the podium, because in practice I was often feeling good. And he was believing in myself maybe more than what I did. So it was hard for him when I came at the weekend and did a small mistake and missed the podium. So at this moment, I said, yeah, I've done it. And for sure it was for George, because I remember the time we spent together. And it was really a pleasure to give it to him. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he saw it.
Obviously, you weren't here last year in terms of riding the Grand Prix because of injury, that you couldn't finish Qatar, the GP there last year. But obviously, you were fast in warm-up this morning, but how is the track in general in terms of... have you ever raced here before?
No, never.
Never.
First time.
But the ground?
Yeah, I like the ground. It seems like it's pretty close to what I used to ride in Switzerland. So the ground is good for me. It seems like it's quite one line for the moment, so maybe it's going to change a bit later. But I was a bit surprised how the track was this morning compared to yesterday, because it was really dry and windy. So it was a good feeling. The morning was really fun to ride, and definitely the start is going to be important. But like always, so after that, it's going to be hard to pass. But also Brazil was really tight, and at the end we could find some solutions. So sure, it's going to be some good race.
Obviously, free practice, just learning the track, trying to get a setup. Will you change many things between now and time training, and maybe even for the qualifying race, or is the bike pretty much okay as it is?
No, it's pretty much okay. Like I've been working on the bike this week on my suspension, and I was really happy about the change we've done. Especially they come to my track where I used to practice, so it's always I have some reference and I know how it is, and the change we've done was really good. So from there, I was happy this morning, and we didn't change anything at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, just to remind everybody, Arnaud Tonus was our fastest in free training this morning. 300ths in it between him and Jeffrey Hurlings. Tixier was third, Ferrandis fourth, and Jose Boutron was fifth. Arnaud Tonus, thanks for joining us here today. I know you've got a busy weekend. Red Plate Championship leader and all that kind of thing. But I was going to say, actually, one more thing I do have to do is promote this game. But we'll get back to you in just a moment. But don't forget, MXGP game is out now. We have it on Xbox 360. We have it on the PS3. We also have it on PC. Available in all video game stores. So don't forget to check that out. I was playing it in the media center yesterday. Obviously, Jeffrey's back real quick. You know, a lot of people saying that he's really hungry and everything else, but I guess you're just going to be focusing on your own thing this weekend. Yeah,
sure. Like I said before, you know, there's so many things going around when you're getting that red plate. So if you focus on that, you can maybe forget to ride. So I try to not think so much about it. And yeah, for sure, Jeffrey's going to be here and fast like always. But now it's let's just keep focused on me, try to get the start and going for the win.
Okay, Arnaud Tonus, thanks for joining us. In a moment, we'll meet our MXGP guest, and that's going to be Stephen Frossard from the Monster Energy Kawasaki squad. But before we meet him, let's see what happened in MXGP Brazil 2 weekends ago.
In the qualifying race on Saturday, it was Kevin Strybos on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki that raced to his second pole position of the season. But in race one, Gauthier Paulin on the Monster Energy Kawasaki took that Foxhead Whole Shot Award as he crossed the stripe in first place. Behind him, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek was in a close second position and challenged early in the race to take the lead on the opening lap from Gauthier Paulin, who then made a mistake not long after, leaving him down in 14th position. And it was going to be a hard fight back through the field for the Frenchman. Perfect conditions for race one, as Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, number 89 on the Yamaha factory racing machine, stormed to an early advantage. But Tony Cairoli, though, to the delight of the Brazilian fans, soon found a way through into the lead and looked to establish himself at the front of the field. With Cairoli walking away with it at the front, Van Hoorbeek second. Evgeny Bobashev was hanging a great ride in third, but he was coming under pressure from Clément de Sal. But Tony Cairoli, though, was just too good for the opposition and started to edge out a very comfortable lead. Almost 15 seconds with about 3/4 of the race gone. The last 10 minutes, though, saw the rains start to fall on the circuit and the track started to become a little bit tricky. Riders started to fall all over the place, but Tony Cairoli was in control and was leaving the opposition in his wake. Clément de Sal being one of those who eventually came home in third on his Rockstar Energy Suzuki, just ahead of Max Nagel and Evgeny Bobashev on the HRC Hondas. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek was a comfortable second on that Yamaha factory racing machine on the number 89 bike, and he was setting himself up for a potential overall Grand Prix, but he would have to challenge this guy here, Tony Cairoli, who was in good form and putting on a great show for the fans. When the flag did eventually fall, though, Tony Cairoli was just almost 16 seconds clear. Van Hoorbeek was second, de Sal was third.
Welcome back to our studio. Just highlights there from the Brazil Grand Prix just 2 weekends ago. Now, my MXGP guest today in Arco de Trento, round 4 of the World Championship, is Stephen Frossard, the Monster Energy Kawasaki rider. Got off to a pretty good start in the opening round of the series in Qatar, but it's been a little bit difficult for him since then in Thailand and Brazil. Maybe you can tell us about it in just a moment. But before we talk about this year, Stephen, welcome to the studio show.
Hello.
It's been a tough couple of seasons for you, hasn't it, with injuries? Just talk us through, you know, your feelings during the last 2 years, not being able to compete at the level that you want to because the injuries.
Yeah, it was a very difficult two season for me. I get a problem to my knee. I broke my cross ligament, and after it was difficult to come back. I must stay 6 months out. But after my feeling was better, during the last winter was very good. But when I come back, I get some problem on my foot. So just after the first race, so it was difficult for me to come back quickly. So after I come back, but my feeling wasn't so good, and I get some other problem during the season. But now I changed the team, and I feel much better. My feeling it's very nice.
And obviously, the start of the season, you got off to a good start. You and Gauthier, your teammate, had a really interesting battle, I think, in Qatar in the second race. You two going at it, and how fun was that? What was that like for you, the first GP in Qatar?
Yeah, I was very happy about my first GP. For sure, it was a surprise for me. My speed was okay, but physically it's difficult to come back after 2 years out. But I take 2 good starts. The second one was better, and I fight with Gauthier in the first 2 laps. For sure, it's my teammate, and I must be professional, and I keep my second place because also I get some problem with my goggles, but it was a good race.
Yeah, and I know we've got a clip of that. We can see that as well because it was pretty close action. But before we see that clip, here we see Gauthier Paulin just ahead of you, and you're there in second position. This was the opening round of the series in Qatar. How was the track this year, actually? Because
the track was, I think, was better. My feeling also was good. I think they did a lot of work on the track, and it was a very good race.
How was it feeling being at the front again after maybe a long time out? I know you won the qualifying race in Sweden last year, but it's not the same as leading the actual Grand Prix, is it?
Yeah, it was a good feeling, but when I am in front, it's easier for me. Gauthier passed me here, but I don't push. I prefer to let him, and after, I think in my head, I think about my teammate, and it's better to finish second and not crash with my teammate.
Obviously, how is it being in this team now at Kawasaki? Because obviously Thierry, the team owner, is French. A lot of the personnel are French, and the 2 riders, of course. Does that suit you? Are you more relaxed in this team now than you were maybe with Yamaha the last couple of years, or is it just a team? It's still a team environment for you?
No, with Yamaha was also very good. My feeling was very good in the team. But now it's different. Everybody is French, almost French. And it's good also to have 2 very good French rider. And I think it's a very good team and a good image.
And what about your fitness levels? Obviously, would you say you're 100% fit at the moment after the winter season and this kind of thing? When did you start riding again? When were you able to start training properly? And would you say you were 100%?
No, I started riding already after England last year.
Okay.
Very quickly, but wasn't physical. I wasn't ready, so I prefer to come back easy, and we'll see. And after in Qatar, I was ready already. But the second race in Thailand and also in Brazil, my feeling wasn't so good.
Why was that? Because obviously, great start in Qatar. Thailand, we go there. Obviously, it's hot, it's humid. What was the difficulties there for you?
The problem for me, I think, it's the weather.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. I don't know. I don't understand. In my body, it's strange. When it's hot like this, it's like I haven't motivation.
Oh, really?
Not motivation, but I feel like sick, but I'm not sick.
Yeah.
Now, today, I feel much better.
So did you find it difficult after being on the bike then in Thailand to relax during the races, to think, am I taking enough fluid? Am I eating the correct foods, eating at the right time? Or is it just from a psychological point of view, when you're in such a humid country that you think, already not defeated, but, like you say, the motivation is difficult?
Yeah, but I try everything to be the most ready for this race. I know since 2 years it's very hot there, but I try everything. But my feeling, my body, I wasn't good. But physical, I was okay, but only I wasn't aggressive. So for a good start, it was very bad to be like this.
And what about Brazil? Because there was one race where you fell in the corner just before the finish, 2 corners from the finish. Was it just a difficult weekend? Didn't have a good rhythm with the track, or?
Yeah, I think I did too bad start, and after I tried to come back, but it was difficult to pass. And after first moto and second moto, I crashed 2 times. But the second one was not so bad because I come back from 25 position, so it was not so bad to finish 9. Physically, it was okay, but only not aggressive.
Mm. And obviously here this morning, I think 11th in the free practice, but it's only free practice.
Yeah.
You like this track? You raced here before and you have a good feeling. Is this kind of the track that you're used to, a bit harder, more square edge bumps? You have a better feeling?
Yeah, like this track, it's very hard. It's a little bit slippery, but it's for everybody. My feeling it's good on this track. I think I can do a good race. I must do a good start, and after we will see what's happened.
And what about the goal now for the rest of the season, just this weekend and going forward? Did you have a goal, top 5 or top 3, or to win the World Championship? Have you had to change that?
Now I would like to do the most podium.
Yeah.
And we will see. But I have a speed to win, but I must do a good start, and I think the result will come.
Okay, well, Stephen Frossard, thanks for joining us here. Before he goes, just a quick reminder that the MXGP game is now available on all consoles, on the Xbox, the PS3, and also on the PC, available all video game stores, and online as well at Xbox and PS3 and at PC as well. So don't forget that. Before we welcome our next guest, let's see what happens. Well, let's take a look at the career of Giacomo Garibaldi, who is my next guest. Let's take a look at some of his work now. Welcome back to our studio show. Just a quick snippet there of some of the work that this guest, my next guest here, Giacomo Garibaldi, has been involved in and what he's achieved. For those who are relatively new to motocross, of course, he took Christophe Charlier to the European 250 Championship title back in 2009, and he's had a steady journey through MX2 as well. So welcome, Giacomo Garibaldi.
Thank you, Paul.
He's a team owner, team manager for Garibaldi Honda Racing. You've got Tim Geiser in the championship. But before we talk about this year and what you've been doing in MX2, just from, again, people out there that maybe aren't familiar with how motocross works, how did you get into management personally?
When I started the team, you mean?
Yeah.
I started because I was a passionate when I was young, of course. I was practicing motocross. And in 2004, I decided to support some young rider in Italy for the Italian Championship, Junior Championship. So we started the team with Massimo Castelli, and that partnership is still alive after 10 years. And we started, with young riders, and we won first season the Italian Championship Junior. So then we step up to the European Championship in 2008, and from there, every year we progressed a little bit with the team, with everything, with the riders. We won in 2009 the European Championship, and then in 2010 Yamaha asked to pass in World Championship to bring these young guys, Kullas, Harry Kullas, the Finnish, and Christophe Charlier into the World Championship, and this is our 5th season in the MX2.
Obviously not easy, but what's the most rewarding part of the job? Because it's not always easy to win, is it?
No, it's not, especially when you come to World Championship. The competition is very tough. In the European, if you have a well-organized team, you can pick some young riders, and it's easier to win races and win maybe the championship. But when you get into the World Championship, then everything becomes hard, really. And even if we've put a lot of hard work in the past 4 years, results are not so easy to come along, and you need, of course, top riders, because it's not enough to have a good team and a good bike, but you need, in my opinion, motocross is still 60% the rider who makes the difference. So we are looking for, for a top rider to try to. My goal is to try to win a world championship.
Obviously now. It's the third year with Honda, 2014. It's been a difficult couple of seasons for you, but now that HRC are on board, particularly with Kei Yamamoto and Tim Geiser, is this, as a team manager, is what you're kind of striving for? When you get involved, you want the best level, the highest level of support possible?
Of course, when you compete in World Championship, you need a support from the company. Otherwise, you cannot win. You can try to do something very good, but you cannot win. With HRC involved, for us, it's a new beginning, because everything has completely changed comparing to the past 2 seasons. And we have a lot of Japanese engineers. We have a full factory bike. We have all the support we need to win races. And now, we have it. So it's a big change.
And what about the long-term goal with this project? Because this is the first year that HRC have been fully behind you in MX2. How long is the cycle? Did they say it's going to be 1 year, we see what happens for next year, or is it a 2-year project going forward and then we see?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we have 1-year contract, and they wanted to start with a 1-year contract. But of course, their goal is to win a world championship. From what I've understood, they want, in 3 years' time, they want to win in MX2. I don't know the program for the MXGP, but for the MX2, they want to win a world title. So they know very well that it will take a while to put everything together, all the pieces together to win a title. So I imagine they are investing on a long term. Otherwise, they know very well that they cannot win.
And it's the first year working with Tim Geiser. Of course, he's won a European and 125 and FIM Junior World Championship, of course. How is it working with him? He's still a young kid. Some people may be thinking there's a lot of pressure on him this year, his first full season in MX2, especially with HRC as well. But you're working very closely with him. How is he as a person, first of all, and how's he dealing with his position in the team?
He's a fantastic guy. He's very clever, very quiet, and you can talk to him. He understands a lot about the bike, about the settings, and this is quite unusual for a young rider. And in my opinion, he's the top rider for the future, because I think with Ken Roczen, he's the only one who won every class, the European Championship and the World Championship with 125 in 2012, I think. So it's the best prospect we have now, because he's only 17. We don't have to forget that he's even younger than Covington. So he's 17, and he has a future in front of him with hopefully with Honda. If he can do well in MX2, he can stay in Honda for his lifetime, because he's also very good riding the 450.
Okay. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, MXGP of Brazil in the MX2 class, second race, Tim Geiser had his best result of his MX2 career, got a third, fantastic third in the second race. Were you surprised at how quickly he got to that level, or is this what you've been working for anyway?
Yeah, not at all surprised, because we expected he could do it anytime.
Yeah.
It was just a question, to stay on 2 wheels for the race, and we knew very well that he was fast, and he could do a top 3 anytime. So if he can start in front, he can stay there.
But he was fast all through the practice sessions on Saturday as well, wasn't he?
He was second, and also the second best lap time in the race. So that's shown that he has everything, the speed to stay with the best ones there. And, this is very important for his confidence for the future of the championship.
But this is a guy that's used to winning anyway, isn't it? So for him, his own expectation I guess at the beginning of the season could have been, right, we will start with, I know I can finish in the top 10, but really I want to be touching top 5. He's now maybe having to change the goal a little bit, isn't he, having a third place already?
Yes, of course, my goal was, first season, was to do with him a top 5 in the championship. Still, he can do it because if he can do some more performances like in Brazil, they are very close in the points from 4 to 10, so he can do it. Of course, we don't put any pressure on him because we know that he can make a mistake any race. He can do a great result, but also make a big mistake. So Honda is asked just to grow with him with the bike, also because the bike is young. And this year we take it, to learn about the rider and about the bike, and anything is welcome.
What did he do differently then after Qatar and Thailand? Because while he was putting in decent times, the consistency wasn't there in the first 2 rounds. The result wasn't quite there, but then he arrived in Brazil. I guess the bike didn't come back to Europe. It stayed in the compound to go directly to Brazil.
No, the bike was exactly the same as the bike we used in Qatar, the first race.
So you think he maybe just had a better feeling with the track?
Yes, absolutely. Better feeling also in his mind after 3 races. Maybe he was feeling a bit better on his mind. But I think this is a guy who also, if you see in Qatar, the lap times were good. He was always in top 10, top 8. So just a couple of crashes, he made. That was the only problem there. But otherwise, he could have been a bit better. Even in Thailand, when he was fighting for 7th position. In the second race, he had a little technical problem, so he was always there. Even if it was not in top 5, he was a top 7, 8 in every race.
And what about this morning in free practice before we leave?
Yeah,
he was looking okay.
7th? Yeah, absolutely. He just tried 1 lap and easily was 7th. So, but he didn't push yet. So we expect he can do very well here. He likes the track.
All right. Well, Giacomo Garibaldi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
Again, before we go, that's all we have time for here this weekend in Arco di Trento, round 4 of our studio show. We've got lots to look forward to. Don't forget, the MXGP game is available on all consoles, PS3 and PlayStation, and on your PC as well. So don't forget to look online, find out where you can buy that. But a great game and good graphics as well, I might add. But that rounds up our show here this week in Arco di Trento. If you've never been here before, didn't watch the race last year, we're going to play out with highlights from the 2013 round. So sit back, enjoy the action from last year, and hopefully you'll look forward to what's to come on Sunday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in Bulgaria in a week. Thanks, you. Bye.
5-second board turn, the gate dropped, and once again, no surprises. Tony Cairoli right from the middle of the gate, swept across everybody. But Tommy Searle, Commander Sal, and David Philippots weren't so lucky coming out of turn 2. They got caught up in each other's rear wheels. They collected each other and had to do it the hard way to Sal, the last rider to get going. Tony Cairoli, though, untroubled up front ahead of his teammate. That's how they would stay throughout the whole moto, all 20 laps of it. Xavier Borg, though, on the Ice One Racing KTM, found himself in 3rd place. He would stay there for about 10 laps, actually, before coming under pressure from Max Nagel. But Sean Simpson on the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna, after making a good start in 9th place, fell down to 18th. He would have to work hard to get back to 14th on what was probably one of the toughest circuits on the calendar so far. Moments like that from Commander Sal on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki meant that he was making it extremely hard work for himself. Rui Gonçalves and Matis Caro banging bars during the race, but Matis Caro winning out on that one. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek moved aside to let his teammate Gauthier Paulin through. Early on in the race, that would put Paulin on the mission then, and he would eventually charge up to 4th place by the time the checkered flag fell. David Guarnieri, though, wasn't so lucky. The Marchetti Racing KTM rider would fall out of 11th position and eventually out of the race altogether. Max Nagel, though, he was showing forms of himself, his former self. The number 12 Honda World Motocross rider eventually found a way up the inside of Xavier Borg, who stalled going into the bottom left-hander. Max Nagel would bring that Honda World Motocross machine in 3rd place. Some consolation for the team, especially with Evgeny Bobryshev not riding this weekend. But Tony Cairoli was simply sensational once again. Tadika Sotu was he, but Commander Sal had to do it the hard way. Eventually coming home in 8th place behind Xavier Bourg and Tommy Searle. Searle likewise having a great ride, the number 100, as he fought all the way through from that second turn crash. But the checkered flag went out. It was a win for Tony Cairoli, another perfect score. De Dijker was second and Nagel was third. Then it was pandemonium out here in Italy. Gauthier Paulin finished in 4th, Strybos was 5th, Tommy Searle was 6th. And that's your podium this weekend. Tony Cairoli and Ken De Dijker, a Red Bull KTM Factory Racing 1-2. Gauthier Paulin, Kawasaki Racing Team in 3rd. You can only watch on as Tony Cairoli lifts another trophy. He equals Joel Smet's record 57 Grand Prix wins. He's second now in the all-time win list.